Good afternoon. Cool. Yeah, I think the audio sounds a little bit better this time than the last live stream. But so this here is our weekly sharing circle. Technically, eventually we want to turn it into a weekly sharing circle where maybe individuals are like a weekly, sharing, but a podcast where maybe we could get a group of individuals together. Could be Zoom or what have you. In person as well. Might be because of the lifting of the restrictions, we might be able to go back to our office and gather some individuals. But for right now, we're just continuing our discussion from this as Bill sees it. This one here is number 27. It's called Daily Reprieve, and my name is Jackson Dion. I'm kind of like the executive director of the Indigenous Wellness Training Society. And incidentally, coming up, we have AGM in the works this month. or later this month. Just letting individuals know who may be stumbling across this podcast. So number 27 says, we are not cured of alcoholism. What we have really is a daily reprieve contingent, and we heard this before, right? On the maintenance of our spiritual condition. And we of AA obey spiritual principles at first because we must, then because we ought to, and ultimately because we love the kind of life such obedience brings. Great suffering and great love are AA's disciplinarians. We need no others. That's from the first one is AA, page 85, and the second is 12 and 12, page 174. So, myself, I do like the daily reprieve, based upon our spiritual conditions, because that's really what it is all about. It's how do we get through life moment by moment and minute by minute, dealing with life on life's terms. And it takes a while to sort that out and to come to realize that it's basically here at the Wellness Society, what we try to teach or train is to do exactly that. How do we get through this moment and the next moment and the next moment? Because some moments will be easier, and by the end of the day, 84,600 seconds flew by, and you'll just be loving it, and it'll be great, and things like that. And those are the easy times. We don't need the creator. Well, technically we do, but we'll feel like we don't, and the day will fly by. But what about those difficult times, those daily, moment by moment? How do we get through those difficult and challenging times when we're all alone, when we're hungry, we're angry at the world, we're lonely, we're tired? How do we get through those times? So that's really those daily reprieves, so based upon our spiritual condition. So what we need to do is build up and strengthen our spiritual muscle, in a sense. That's only done through going through each little moment by moment, on a moment by moment basis. It's almost similar to like, watching a car accident or a train wreck or something. So, when we see it, it's like we can't believe it's happening at first, but it goes in slow motion almost, in a sense, even though it's happening really quickly, and then we kind of like take a look at it, and that's our life spiraling out of control. It's almost like a train wreck. And so when those times happen, because it's coming, the train is coming, the train wreck is coming in your recovery. We may not think it is, but from my own experience, and I don't think I'm different than anyone else, yeah, in a sense, a train stops here. So how do we get through that time? Augmentino says that we're going to be the exact same person 5 years from now, except for two things: the books that we read and the people that we meet. So if you want to be different 5 years from now, read some books, could be online, or watch some YouTube videos, and go out and meet people. And the more books I believe that you'll read, and the more people that you'll meet, we all have opinions, right? So that's, if you want to expand your toolkit of dealing with life on life's terms, moment by moment, read some books. Like The Power of Now is awesome. Eckhart Tolle, I guess. I don't know how to say his last name, but, or Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or Radical Honesty, Brad Blanton. See, these put together, and they say, Brad Blanton says that the typical quote is, like, especially if you're on, this is me on drugs, or this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs, and then they fry an egg, right? But Brad Blanton says, like, the typical thing is, oh, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. What he says is, the mind is a terrible thing. Waste it. Eckhart Tolle basically says the same thing, inside of our mind. He says is that our mind gets trapped and it gets blocked and creates blockages. I think even Stephen Covey says something like, I will live out of my experience, not my memory. When I first learned that, I was like, holy cow, live out of our experiences, not our memory. And so I think that's what this here. So how do we do that? Well, we could learn basic steps for relaxing in a moment, like, go find a quiet place without distractions like televisions or cell phones or street noise. Choose a word or phrase to focus on, like in the book that I read, Dr. Benson recommends a word one. Just concentrate on that one. Although it's best to pick something that has special meaning to you. Many people use a prayer word. Others, nothing more than a soothing sound. Whatever it is, stay with that word or sound once you pick it. After a while, it automatically triggers your relaxation response. So you could be on a crowded subway and then you just think of that one word or the sound. And like for me, I remember I was angry one time and I went up onto the mountains and I could still picture that place. It was so pristine and nice and quiet. No one was there. The only sound I could hear in this mountain valley was the faint sound of overhead airplanes. And I could, so anytime I think of that scene, and it brings, a calmness, a stillness within inside of my body. But you maybe you could choose something, a word or some kind of sound or picture in your mind where you're at complete ease with yourself in the world. So another thing you could do is sit upright in a comfortable position with your hands resting naturally on your lap. Let your eyes close gently. Take a few deep breaths to relax your muscles and quiet your mind. Breathe normally, but become aware of each breath and of the slow, natural rhythm of your breathing, in and out, in and out. Repeat your focus word or your sound silently on every exhale. Breathe in one or some om, I don't know. A variety of thoughts and imaginary and feelings that, may come to mind, but don't let it distract you. Be passive. Let those thoughts just go without dwelling on them. Like the stream, the river stream, just you get the thought, but just don't do anything about it. Just let it flow out. Passive attitude appears to be the most essential factor in eliciting the relaxation response. You could try this for 10 to 20 minutes. When it's time to stop, stay quiet with your eyes closed for a few minutes. Let yourself slowly become fully awake and alert. Something else to practice at least once a day is progressive relaxation. So if you first get comfortable. I don't know if you've ever tried this. Sit upright with your hands resting in your lap. Or you can lie down with your feet braced slightly against a wall or heavy piece of furniture, and then close your eyes. Make a tight fist with your right hand. Tense muscles in your wrist and forearm. Hold it for 5 seconds while noticing the tension. Right? Then unclench your fist and release the tension from your forearms. And observe the difference, how it feels, difference from when it was tense versus when you release it. And then repeat the process and do the same thing for your left fist and forearm. Then tense your upper arm and shoulders for a few seconds and relax. Each time, notice the difference between how your muscles feel when tense and how they feel when they're relaxed. Tense your neck. For most people, this is a tensest part of our body to begin with. I know I carry all my stress here whenever I go for a massage. And hold that for a few seconds and then relax. By now you should begin to notice considerable difference in how much more relaxed your upper body is feeling compared to when you first started. And make a frown, like scowl as hard as you can, then relax those muscles and feel the difference between the tension and how it drains out of your face and cheeks when you let go. Then push up on your toes if you're trying to push against a wall. Whatever it takes to create tension in your legs, right? Hold for a few seconds and then relax. Repeat a couple of times. Should be feeling an overall calmness and sense of peace. During the progressive relaxation, keep your breathing normal and rhythmic. When you're finished, take a deep breath and hold it so that you feel the tension in your chest. Then exhale. Inhale again and hold. Repeat this breathing exercise a few times. Each time you exhale, give yourself silent affirmations such as I'm calm, I'm relaxed. Finally, count to 4 slowly and become more alert with each count. Like 1, and then 2, and at 4, open your eyes, and you will be amazed at how relaxed and refreshed you feel. These are some of the things that I've learned throughout my day. The years that I put into recovery. So this is actually the first one that I've ever learned, and I've practiced it initially, and then you just tense and relax, tense and relax, and it got me through those moments. And now sometimes we get away from all what we've learned and taught ourselves or what other people have mentioned to us. But that's okay, because life just gets busy and then it starts building up. So this is just one tool to get you through that one point in time. Another one that I learned is, name 5 things that you see. Name 4 things that you hear. Name 2 things that you could touch, or 3 things you could touch, or 2 things you could smell, or stuff like this. What is 1 thing you could taste, right? Just it's all about being in the moment and getting through that one moment. So so your spiritual muscle will be able to grow and expand, and you'll be able to ready to take on the next moment that's coming, the train wreck that's coming. So all these small little things that you could do daily will be able to add up over time. And it's not the big things that is the hardest to get through, actually. It's just the little things, just the small little things that will add up over time. So my prayer is that, that we focus and one day at a time. That's one thing that has never left me. That only difference between me and somebody new is that I have put in more time, more back-to-back days. And so let's say, for example, if you go for a master's degree, it's about 2 years, I guess, 2 to 4 years. But so if you do the time one day at a time, back-to-back, and put in the time, you'll eventually, what's the best way to eat an elephant is 1 bite at a time. So you'll be able to finish that degree, but it'll take 2 years. And that's not to mention all the preparation work that you need to do in order to get to that point to begin with. So if you're new in recovery, if you're struggling in that one particular moment, just use some of these techniques just to get you through that one moment, because life will be you'll be able to do what is one thing that you could do if you did it on a daily basis would make a tremendous amount of difference in your personal life? What is one thing that you could do that'll make a tremendous amount of difference in your professional life? That's what Stephen Covey mentions, right? This could be one thing, that'll both affect you personally and professionally. Yeah, it's just a idea, a suggestion. I know it's got me through the initial parts of my recovery, and I'm pretty sure that it'll be able to do wonders for yourself. And so, if you have my question to you is, what relaxation technique do you use to get you through that moment? Maybe just leave it in the comment section below. If you want to hear more videos like this, I guess they say like and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to be a guest on this podcast, let me know. Be able to schedule it through Zoom and stuff. I see some people are launching their counseling services. So if you want to talk about counseling and stuff, I'm more than happy to learn these techniques and others that'll be able to help us get through that one day, that one moment, because we know what the relapse will lead to. So all we're saying is, okay, let's try something different. This is one thing we could do differently for every reason to relapse, there's about 10 or more to not relapse. So that's all we're exploring. And so if you have any input, if you want schedule a one-to-one session, go to iwtscanada.org and click on the book now. Bring you to a little calendar on the right-hand side. So you could click on the day that you want to. There are certain times. Click on the time, then click if you wanted a video session. You can do confidential video sessions through the system. It's all privacy related. And, So my prayer for you is anyone who's struggling just for this moment, especially during this pandemic, through social isolation, and they're having a tough time, and maybe they're going back to their addictions and their old behaviors, all the anger is coming out again because they're on a different level. They're in a different relationship with their partners because they haven't spent so much time together. My prayer is that anyone who's struggling, maybe just to at least use this one technique, progressive relaxation technique, to get them through that moment. Tense, feel the difference between the tension and the relaxation, and use your body to remember that difference. And like when you know that it's like static building up on a carpet and you're ready to snap, remember these techniques to discharge all that hate, anger, animosity, all the negativity. Don't take it out on your spouse or on your pets or on your children. Just use these techniques to improve yourself, to walk the red road in a upright manner. All my relations.